is Back Nguyen. I'm one of the Zero Waste Use Planning member team, and the second sections in the afternoon will have the main theme of engaging in the next generations. And there's a little reminder for everyone that this session will be being recorded. So if someone doesn't like their image showing up, please turn off your camera. And we will have a 12 minutes per speaker and 5 minutes for Q&A. Thank you very much. So I'm gonna stop share my screen now and let Fredrika to share your screen.
All right.
And I will, yeah.
So, yeah, there it is.
Okay.
Okay. Well, hello, everyone. And we're so honored, and actually it's supposed to be me and Liam, but you got the more of the Zero Waste family. We have Noah here, who is 12 years old, and we have James, the Zero Waste dad, obviously. So we're so honored to be here. We are the Zero Waste family. We have been Zero Waste since 2015, when James here decided to remove our trash can and declare us Zero Waste. So we have 3 children. Our daughter who's 16, she is the one who has most memories of what it was like to suddenly become a Zero Waste family at the age of 9. The boys are lucky enough that they don't remember much of becoming Zero Waste, do you?
Yeah.
No. So lucky them. So actually, I think it took years before they figured out that there were actually something called a trash can and the people had them in their house. So our journey began way back. I've been an environmental writer for over 20 years, and I wrote about keep holding companies and government responsible and to push more sustainability practice. What the piece that was missing for me was individual action. And I learned that once I became a mom in 2006 to our daughter Isabella, and I realized that climate change was going to be the biggest threat that was actually my children were going to face. And I started realizing that I had children, they came with a lot of waste, and I started really working on reducing the waste. Now, I can't say that James was like really thrilled about this and coming along. So in the beginning, it was just me making the best effort that I could, one step at a time, to reduce our waste.
And so this is just a few images of kind of our homestead. We live in San Diego, about 10 minutes from downtown. We actually live on just a standard city lot. And one of the big things that we did to help reduce our waste footprint was we started growing food. At first, Fredrika just had a little growing area, but over time, it kind of took over our backyard and then the front of our house and then the side of our house. And we got chickens. And we just started to the point where we grew about 70% of the food that our family of 5 ate.
So how do we reduce waste with kids? Well, we live by the principle of the 5 R's. So we basically refuse to produce waste. And one way that we do it is obviously we buy food package free. So Liam, can you share a little bit about how we do that?
So, well, when we go to for example, the farmer's market, we just bring our own cartons. So they don't have, we don't have to buy other ones.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we also buy in bulk.
Yeah, we also buy in bulk. So we don't have to
buy the food as packaged.
Yeah.
So it is just as simply that if it is comes with waste, we will not bring it in unless we can recycle, reuse it, or compost it. But we also work a lot about reusing. How do we do that, Noah?
Well, instead of getting plastic Ziploc bags, we get recyclable Ziploc bags.
Reusable.
Yeah.
And we try to you reuse stuff compared to just getting something and then just throwing it away a day later.
Yeah, so we actually have, this is really funny. So we have had, when Noah was born, that's when I decided we're going to give up on paper towels, which as a family of 5, we use a lot of paper towels. So instead we're using cloth paper towels, and we actually have some that are as old as Noah. So they've been around. So imagine, first of all, how much money we save, but also how much waste we actually have skipped and diverted to from the landfill. And so we also, We also work a lot about repairing, and Liam here is our repair king. But during COVID homeschooling, my kids actually learned how to mend socks and pants, which was the most brilliant thing that I ever taught them, because that's been a game changer. Because between my kids, there are always holes in socks or pants, so they learn how to fix those. But you actually went to learn to repair daddy's jeans last week, right? Yeah, so we're lucky we have a fix-it clinic here in San Diego. So you can bring in anything, nothing is too small or too big, and you don't bring it in for them to fix it. You actually go there to learn how to fix it yourself. So that is the shoot part, to just fix whatever's broken instead of throwing it away. Now, James here, he is the king of compost.
Yeah, that's right. And so we do one of the other ways. Most average Americans have about 25% of their household waste comes from food waste. And when that goes to the landfill, so many people think it composts at the landfill, but it doesn't. It turns into methane gas, which is one of our biggest problems with greenhouse gases is methane. So we actually have a number of composts at home. Of course, we do a lot of gardenings. We have a bokashi compost, which if you're interested, can learn a lot more on our website, zerowastefamily.com, as well as a worm compost. And we really turn all of our food waste into nourishment for the soil in our backyard and in our garden.
So obviously, once I became a mom, I was a little bit shocked on how much waste these kids came with. For like example, an average baby can go through over 2,000 diapers, disposable diapers. And these diapers, they go to the landfill, and because they're plastic and chemicals, first of all, they leach into the environment, but also they won't go away. So long after my kids are grown up, those diapers will still be there. So instead, we actually use cloth diapers for our kids. At one point, I actually had both of them in cloth diapers. I can tell you it's not that big of a deal or that much challenging. And in the end, when they were done with cloth diapers, we actually resold them for half of the value. So it was that was one of the smartest decisions I ever made, and the easiest actually change that I ever made for the kids. So obviously, we buy a lot of things secondhand.
Yeah. So we buy our daughter's closet. So she wasn't able to be here today, but she's 16, and we always call her our secondhand clothes fashionista. Really takes pride in buying cool secondhand clothes and having this capsule closet where you just have the essence of clothes that you need for all of her different fashion needs as a teenager. For the kids, it's a lot about thinking about buying gifts secondhand. And, you know, it requires a little more planning ahead, but I totally am amazed at the secondhand market, even things like Legos, which the boys have been into. There are people that will buy Lego sets, which aren't that cheap, by the way, and actually wash the Legos and sell them secondhand. And so we got rollerblades a couple of Christmases ago, which we're also able to get secondhand. And quite frankly, kids really don't really care whether it's secondhand or not. They just really care about, that they're able to have fun with what we get. And so we really think about and plan ahead on really everything that we do need to buy. What can we get secondhand?
Yeah, so today, actually, majority of our things, except socks, underwear, and actually cleats for this one, because he plays soccer, we buy secondhand as much as possible, and everything else we try to buy it as sustainable as possible. We rather have fewer items that are good quality. Okay, so do you want to talk about how we do snacks?
Sure. So usually when we want to pack snacks, when we're going to a park, we usually put them in like glass containers or like metal, but we don't want to put them in plastic, because the plastic puts like chemicals into the food, and it's not going to be that good for you.
Yeah, so actually the biggest change we made as a Zero Waste family was that we start eating way more home and cooking and making our own snacks. So I actually do a food prep once a week, where I make up a lot of snacks in jars to keep them in the fridge for the kids to grab and go, as convenience as going to a store to buy the snacks, in my opinion. But also we bake our own bread, we make our own jams, we make pretty much everything from scratch. Not that much work. And actually, people ask me, doesn't that take a lot of time? It takes much longer to drive to Target or to the grocery store, in my opinion, than making it yourself.
It's mostly about planning ahead, right? Because when you get caught out and you're out with kids and they start to get hungry, it's so easy to just pop into a shop and get snacks, which they always come in plastic packaging. And so the challenge as a parent is just to always be thinking ahead.
Okay, Liam, you want to talk about school lunches? Because yesterday you were on Instagram showing your zero waste school lunch.
Yeah, so we don't like package it in like plastic. We usually use like a metal container that we can reuse and like stuff like that.
And have you had the same containers that you've been using like the whole time you've ever been in school?
I guess like been like 7 years.
Matter of fact, we actually have a container that is from when our daughter was in preschool. So, I mean, and she's 16 today, and it's still hanging in there. And again, how much we have diverted. And, you know, for snacks, we just put them again, either in the lunchbox directly or in reusable Ziploc bags. We just avoid plastic at all costs, obviously. And for most times, actually, the kids actually make their own lunches. And this is also how we do it when we're out and about outside the school. We bring our own lunches and snacks with us. Okay, Liam, Noah, arts and craft. We actually make our own arts and craft because that can come with so much waste. It's crazy.
Like usually like some like games that might not sound that fun, like blowing bubbles and just popping them. Maybe you can like put a challenge, like you have to blow the bubbles and then like get one item to throw and you have to pop a bubble, or like you have to do something. But mainly we want to have fun by like using different colors or like painting with our own hands to make all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, we like to make all kinds of, our kids are actually very creative, and it's amazing because they are way ahead of us. We just sit and watch them, but the neighbor's recycle bin is like the biggest source of materials for whatever they happen to be building or making in arts and craft that day. And of course, this saves a lot of money, but we have learned to make our own glue and to make our own, simple as this picture, colored sand, make your own bubbles, your own sidewalk paint. There's so many things out there. There's so many resources out there on Google. I really recommend checking that out.
And then with kids comes lots of birthday parties. And when our kids were young, we thought, wow, we have got a lot of birthday parties ahead of us. And every time we had been to a birthday party, it had just so much waste and things that were thrown away. So we had this idea of, you know, when the kids are young, we should create a zero waste party box, like a box that just has everything you need to do to throw a party with like 30 kids and parents, and just have that so that anytime there's a birthday party, we can just pull it out and we've got everything from cups to spoons to plates to decorations that we can just use over and over again. And it was great. And we've used it tons of time as we have 3 kids. What we didn't expect was that a lot of the other parents would go, wow, that box is so smart. Can we actually borrow that? And so I think we've had that box been borrowed from us like 40 times, including right now. We have to get it back tomorrow because it's being borrowed right now. Actually, at an event at your class, right?
Tax party after my play.
Yeah.
I think this is actually a great business idea. Someone should be coming up with actually renting out party boxes, zero waste party boxes. Okay, so of course we give gifts to our kids. They are not, we're not denying them gifts at all. But so first of all, we try to donate as many things as possible. But you know, most kids are not into donating to get a donation gift. But people have actually done that in our kids' name, which I love, for example. But we do give a lot of experience. So as our family, we love coming up with, you know, for my birthday, I would like to do this. And it can be as simple as I want to have a picnic, or I want to be on the beach, or you want to go climbing, or it's been all kinds of really, really fun things that we do together as a family. And I feel like those are creating memories that will last much longer than the gifts that they are getting. Of course, we're into also making gifts, and we have made a lot of gifts for the kids over the years. But Liam here, he's like the expert on making gifts. He's quite of a crocheter, so he has made more water bottle holders, blankets, booties, and hats than I can care to remember. But he is the make your own gifts kind of king.
Yeah, it's definitely my favorite subject.
And then, of course, I do believe that we should normalize secondhand gift giving, especially to kids. Well, to anyone, actually. And again, I think people feel like sorry for my kids. We don't give them dingy, broken things that are secondhand. We give them good stuff. And like James said, you can find pretty much everything secondhand. Just give yourself time. If you are in for convenience and need to figure out things quickly, then obviously that's going to be a problem. And last, if we're going to buy a gift brand new, we do make sure that they are a sustainable brand.
Now, I think that 12 minutes went by really fast.
Yeah, sorry, but you know,
We might need to kind of wrap it up.
Yeah.
But we'll just real quickly talk about, in fact, why don't we maybe just go to talk about the next slide with kids,
Yeah.
right?
yeah. So eco-anxiety, this is the most beneficial thing that actually come out of our zero waste lifestyle is that we have reduced the eco-anxiety in our kids, which of course is up on the rise, you know, and more and more kids are having this extreme worry about the future and the planet because of climate change, and they don't tend to express it in the same way. So living this way, our kids know we're taking an active step every day to reduce our own waste and actually combating climate change.
And this is such a big deal because as many of you probably saw, there was a recent study a year or two ago where the vast majority of kids between 18 and 25 either feel some or quite a lot of anxiety about the climate. And what we've really found as activists working in our family and working with kids is that the biggest thing that we can do to help kids is to feel like to give them a purpose, that they're involved in solutions and that they can make a difference. And I think when you role model that as parents or as older brothers and sisters or aunts and uncles, if you role model this to kids, that you can help them turn fear into action, that is really what we have found really reduces anxiety in kids.
Yeah, so we're going to wrap this up really quickly because we know that we're out of time, but how do we actually, as a family, reduce our kids' eco-anxiety and how we turn their fear into action? Well, first of all, we volunteer as a family and depend on different kids. They like to volunteer for different things. Noah, who loves the ocean and the beach, he volunteers with surf riders, cleaning beaches. Liam here, who loves animal preservation, he actually adopted a sloth from in Costa Rica that he helped nurse back to health, is being released into the wild. And then, of course,
yeah, and we spend a lot of time in nature and in our garden, really grounding kids in nature and connecting them to nature. And in our case, the garden as well. Really, I think helps them be so much more stable. It helps them to really feel like they want to be part of the solution to save the planet. And there is just so much to learn. Like for us, the garden is such a place of kind of science and biology and ecology that it really kind of grounds them in terms of their learning and just becoming a more holistic human being that's going to be part of the solution.
So thank you so much for having us here. And we're so sorry we went over time, but we are very excited to be part of this whole movement. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I was really amazed by the whole garden and everything that your family did. We will come back for you and your family to Q&A later. So our next speaker is Kayla.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to share my slides, hopefully, if that's okay. One sec. Oops, that one. Okay. Perfect. Can you guys all see my screen? Okay, so hi everyone, thank you so much for being here. My name is Kayla Ling. My pronouns are she, her, and I am a 9th grader at the Nueva School, San Mateo, California. And I am the founder of the project No Waste Nation. So a few things you should know about me. I am a passionate environmentalist. I've cared about the environment ever since elementary school, and I think it's been really cool to kind of keep expanding my environmental activism work. And another thing you should know about me is I am really passionate about using media and film specifically to amplify messages and to really speak up for what I believe in. So this all led me to create the Project No Waste Nation, which I'm going to tell you a little bit more about later. So first things first, I want to show you guys a video. And I just want to know who's seen videos like this. And I'm just going to play a few seconds, and then you're going to tell me in the chat if you've seen this before on social media.
Waiting for a bag, so let's open it.
Okay. In the chat, who's seen this before? Okay. Yes. So much packaging. Okay, so for some people, maybe first time seeing this. For those of you who may not know what you just witnessed, basically, one thing that's kind of become very prominent with the expansion of short form video content like TikTok is hauls. And hauls are basically when people to create content to kind of go viral or whatnot, they'll go out to stores, they'll buy, and typically it's fast fashion, and they'll spend really huge amounts of money on buying very cheap clothes. So there are some people here, they've spent $1,000 on these big fast fashion brands. And it really encourages the culture of consumerism. So let's talk about what consumerism is. According to Wikipedia, consumerism is a social and economic order that encourages the acquisition of goods and services in ever-increasing amounts. So consumerism is what our economy is built on. And consumerism is that urge you feel when you see someone else having something, and in your mind you say, I need to buy that. I also need that, when you know that you probably don't. It's that feeling that you just need to keep buying, and that's what's going to help you increase social status, increase your value, when it's really not, and it's really just a manufactured concept. Consumerism has a huge impact on the environment. Consumerism creates so much waste because we are increasing our consumption. That means that we're increasing how much stuff we have, and that means we're increasing how much stuff we throw away. There's actually a statistic by the UN that says on average, within 6 months, people throw away 99% of the things they buy. Now, in response to this issue, I created a video as a filmmaker to kind of amplify this message. So I want to show you this now. Oh, wait. Okay. Let's go there first. This is consumerism. It's our culture. We buy more than we need year after year, producing more and more waste. Consumerism makes us wasteful. I was shocked to learn that 99% of items we purchase are discarded within 6 months. Many of those items use plastic, which takes up to 500 years to decompose. And energy from manufacturing, transporting, and using these products encourages excess use of fossil fuels, the source of our climate crisis. Here's my idea. Like Nat Geo explorers Ruthie Grudev created an e-magazine to unite ocean conservationists, let's use social media to unite waste reducers. I started No Waste Nation, a platform where I highlight unique waste reducers in my community to inspire others to reduce waste themselves. Let's grow this movement. Let's use the power of media to make reducing waste cool. We can work together to shift away from the culture of consumerism. Join us at No Waste Nation. Okay. So now I would like to tell you a little bit about how, or why rather, I created this video. So, oh my gosh. Okay. So basically, I found that as I was kind of exploring consumerism, that the trend is consumerism. That's kind of been the norm for really the past few decades, as consumerism and just industrialization has increased. Now, here's what I think should be the anti-trend: helping the environment and buying less, buying better, kind of as the zero waste family was saying. And I really found that right now, most people think consumerism is cool, buying more is cool, but it's not really. So how do we flip the script? So the next thing I did was I surveyed my community, and I got 99 responses, which I think is pretty good. And I found that a lot of people, as you can see here, use reusable water bottles. They're choosing paper over plastic. They're using reusable bags at the grocery store. But down here, you can't quite see it, but it says only 63% of people encourage others to reduce waste. How do we increase the number? How do we make helping other people and encouraging them to reduce waste the norm? So I started No Waste Nation. And I just want to kind of walk you guys through what No Waste Nation has kind of become. I'm really excited about how much it's grown in the past few, well, I started a month ago, and it's grown quite quickly. So at No Waste Nation, I highlight local waste producers in my community and the hope to encourage other communities and other people to reduce waste themselves. And specifically, I tried to highlight waste reducers that are not exactly typical in their waste reducing methods. For example, this is my friend Malia. She upcycles clothing. So she takes old clothing and she recreates it into new pieces. And that's actually a business that she owns. This is Bird's Filling Station, which is a local refill station / zero waste grocery store. And she started this grocery store out of just a want to reduce waste in grocery stores, which I think is so neat. This one is super cool. Stone Fox is a beauty salon, and they actually partner with a program called Green Circle Salons. So they take their waste from plastic to hair to hair dye, and they turn it into really special environmental alternatives like alternative energy into road paving and etc. So I'm really excited about No Waste Nation, and I think this is just one way that we can help reduce waste and kind of encourage others to feel excited about reducing waste. Now, I want to leave you with a final message, which is that environmentalism is not a one-size-fits-all solution. And I think this is going to become super clear, especially seeing the Zero Waste family, and hopefully once Lily presents, this will kind of fit together. But uniting your unique passions, skills, and interests to define how you approach environmentalism is really powerful. My skill is filmmaking and using media and uniting other youth in my community. So that's what I design my personal environmental solution around. And that's something you can start to think about doing yourself. Okay, and that's it for me. One quick thing is this form right here is something I used, the one that I showed you earlier is something that I used to collect data about waste reducers. So you could take just a few minutes after this conference to fill it out. I would be so grateful. Yeah, give No Waste Nation a follow. I would totally appreciate it. And I promise you will learn lots about reducing waste and different ways you can do that. And yeah, I'm so excited to talk to you more in the Q&A, and thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Kayla, for your amazing presentations. I was really amazed by how you use social media to launch your own project. So we move on to the next presenter, Lily. Okay, I will share my screen, but before that, I will turn off the camera so that it would not be lag.
It says it's still loading on my side. Is it ready for? Oh, there it is. I see it now.
Okay,
Okay,
great.
cool.
Okay, great. Yeah.
1 second. Let me just change my view here. Okay, awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm Lily. I work for Acterra. I'm their Youth Climate Education Associate, which is a fancy way of saying I manage the youth education programs. Yeah, I'm really stoked to talk to all of you. Those Kayla and Zero Waste family, you guys are really inspiring. I won't be talking too much about reducing waste, but I will be talking about the educational programs that we offer that hopefully lead to reducing waste and understanding those ties between consumerism and climate change. And if you hear my dog drinking water, she's around, so she'll be making some disturbances. Next slide, please. Yeah, so a little bit about Acterra's work. We're a Bay Area 501c3 organization based in Palo Alto, and our mission is bringing people together to create local solutions for a healthy planet. We do this through our 4 strategic pillars: beneficial electrification, food and climate, education, and youth. And those are separate because we also have an adult education program, which features a lecture series, and workplace sustainability. So beneficial electrification helps people transition to clean electric buildings and transportation. Food and climate supports a plant-forward lifestyle, reducing food waste, and also addressing sustainability flaws within our food systems. And that is an environmental good and also a social good project that we have. So making sure that our food workers are being treated fairly. Education and youth is where we think about empowering communities and young people to take action on climate solutions through education. And workplace sustainability provides resources and knowledge sharing to green teams in local businesses and organizations. And another program that's folded into this is our long-running business environmental awards program. So essentially like helping businesses have more sustainable practices within their office or within their different programs and projects. So we've found 2 very successful approaches to our work. The first is that there's a lot of low-hanging fruit when it comes to individual behaviors. So we focus a lot on that. But the other one is that we can also make a difference through influencing policy makers. So we apply both of these approaches, and I invite you to learn more at acterra.org. Some upcoming events, next slide, please. Our induction cooking class this week. We also have a climate action benefit next week, or I'm sorry, both of them are next week. And then we also have an EV Expo in Palo Alto. So if you're interested in kind of getting to test drive or sit behind the wheel of a car and learn about the financial incentives, you can head over there as well. Next slide, please. Okay, so now I'm going to talk to you about the program that I've primarily been working on, which is the Youth Be the Change program. And essentially we create free curriculum for middle schoolers. And in a lot of cases, it also translates over to high schoolers. Its goal is to plug into our existing education system and give teachers and schools the resources they need to be able to teach these concepts themselves. And a lot of this is also training teachers to be able to do this across different subject matters. So there's this really interesting poll that came out through NPR and Ipsos poll a few years ago that talked about how most parents and most teachers want to be teaching climate change in school. They support it, but there's like a 20% difference between the people who are actually teaching their kids about climate change and who support it. So like only like 60% are doing it, and of those who support it, and only 80% say they support it but aren't doing it. So we are basically, looking at the statistic and saying, well, why is this? Is it because, they don't feel ready to do that. If they don't feel ready to do that, okay, we can do teacher trainings. They're free. We have curriculum that we can follow that would help them plug into that. And then the other thing was that they didn't think that it pertained to their subject matter. So we have math teachers, English teachers, government teachers, art teachers who aren't talking about it in their classrooms. And I find this really interesting because I feel like there's so much accessibility within those topics to talk about climate change. It's not something you just need to cover in environmental science or biology or chemistry. Like, this is a social issue, and climate change affects our world. So as a writer, like, you're going to be writing about your world around you, just like people 100 years ago were writing about the world around them. Math, like, we rely so much on math to be able to find out how climate change is affecting our world. And there's excellent data sets and graphs that are downloadable online through NOAA and through the UN to be able to create lessons around that. So yeah, we just really wanted to make sure that teachers knew, like, there is a place for you to learn about how to do this, even if you're an art teacher. So that's the Youth Be the Change program. So I'm going to put the link here for anybody who's interested. The curriculum is free. The teacher trainings are free. And I also do guest speaker spots as well. If you're a teacher or your teacher doesn't feel comfortable teaching it, I can come in and teach as well. And then the next thing, next slide, please. Yep. The other program that I manage is the Acterra Student Ambassador Program. The Acterra Student Ambassador Program is a lot more simple than the Youth Be the Change program. We train students to make public comments and become active members in their community. And then if there's some project or program that a student wants to launch or needs help administratively with outreach, whatever it is, we also mentor and support them for free as well. So this is a really cool one because I think it is a natural progression of, like, I'm learning about these things, I want to do something about this, and why are all these policies coming out that aren't in line with, you know, reaching our climate goals? So this is a very tangible, regular thing that students can do to be involved in their local community. So if you sign up to be a sapling, is what we call the students who are involved in Acterra Student Ambassador Program, you get regular newsletters saying this is what policy, what reach code is on the docket, where and when. And then every month we have a public comment workshop where we bring in a new speaker. And then we also take some time to workshop how to make a public comment. So that can be verbal or written. And we have our director of policy that comes to those and talks to us from somebody who's influencing policy regularly. So I'm going to drop the link for that sign up form here if you're interested. And this is something adults can do too. It's geared more towards students because we are a youth education pillar, but adults can also get these newsletters and be involved. Next slide, please. So our next public comment workshop is April 5th, or every first Wednesday of the month. You can sign up through our Eventbrite that I'll put in the chat here. We made them from 6 to 7, hoping that would be early and late enough for people to arrive there, you know, after school and after work or practice. Sorry, I've been talking a lot today. So yeah, come on by if you're interested. Next slide, please. So the reason why we focus on education is because education sets the baseline of understanding for why sustainability matters, why their choices matter. If we don't understand something, we can't change it or fix it, right? We can't become better without understanding nuanced topics like climate change and how excessive waste plays a role in it, both at the conception of the product's life cycle, all the way to the end of its life cycle when we dump it somewhere. So these topics are connected in so many different ways at so many different stages. And I think it really helps to have this these mental links between topics. Because I think if you understand the problem and its complexity, you can find the best solutions for them. Next slide, please. So how do we help students stay engaged? Students are very busy already, and the best ways I think to help them stay engaged is firstly by listening to them. When they come up with an idea or an issue they want to tackle, we need to be engaged with them and get them going on their path. I think a lot of times adults forget what it's like to be young, and we're so busy and we just don't listen. So I think listening and saying, yeah, you know what, that's a cool idea, let's try it. And you know, feeling like someone believes in you, that you can make a difference, is a huge motivator, especially if you don't believe in yourself. I think another thing is also giving students agency to do something on their own. Even if like you as a parent or a teacher don't feel like they know enough or they're too young, if they're coming up to you and saying they want to try to go volunteer somewhere or start a project at their school, giving them that agency to learn along the way, I think is huge. And just let them know like you have their back. And then the last bit of advice is to make these topics and concepts accessible. Talk to them at school about environmental issues, or at home with them if you're a parent. As an adult, we don't know everything, and I feel that like really strong when I'm teaching. I'm like, I get questions sometimes where I'm like, that is a really good question that nobody's ever asked me before, and I'm 30. Like, how'd you think of that? So, you know, it's okay if you don't know everything, but if you're getting the conversation started, you'll teach them something, and you'll probably end up learning something too. You will definitely end up learning something, actually. Next slide, please. So our hopes for these programs is that students continue their education and their careers and their lives more informed. That doesn't necessarily mean they need to go into environmental fields or study science, but just having that knowledge, like I feel like we need to treat it like, you know, like language literacy or math literacy. Like there needs to be environmental literacy as well. Yeah, so next slide, please. If you want to contact me, there is my email and there's our website. Next slide, please. And do you have any questions? No? Okay, maybe we'll do questions later.
Thank you, Lily, for your amazing presentations. So now we will come to the Q&A time for all of our three speakers. Let's see. There's one question from Freddie to the Zero Waste family. Do you have any links to Zero Waste snack recipe?
Yes, so we
Fredrika?
have lots and lots of zero waste snack recipes on our website, zerowastefamily.com. And you can just go search and you will find tons of them.
I've also added a Jamboard page for the Zero Waste family. I put your beautiful picture up there, your link to the website, to the Instagram, And I saw that you have a book and a film too. I'm really interested. So there's a page there. If you guys have more to share, feel free to go to Jamboard and interact there. Put more resources on there too.
Thank you.
I have a lot of questions for our speakers, but I really want to respect people's time because we are coming to the closing keynote now. So if no one's have any more questions, we can heading to the main hall Zoom room for the closing keynote. Thank you very much.